is Word Tips and Time Savers. Thank you for putting your information in the chat. I'm going to take my camera off right now, and I'm going to take a look in the chat to see what questions you have already. All right, so some of you are telling me I've asked a question about what your skill level was, and basic to intermediate to advanced, and that's typically the level that we have. We have all kinds of levels that take our trainings, and we're so happy to have all of you. If you are using Microsoft Word for many months or years, I think you'll still be able to learn some tips and time savers. If you're very basic and you have very basic knowledge and haven't used Microsoft Word very much, that's okay. Somebody mentions that like to know how to move and resize photographs. Absolutely, we'll cover that. So some of the things you might be struggling with, somebody puts line spacing with my resume, excellent. Text boxes, inserting images, excellent. We'll be going over those types of things. So very good. If you think of any of the questions along the way, let me know, but take a look at this list that I've created. This list has some tips and time savers. This is what you'll typically see in this presentation today. I don't know if we'll get to everything, but there are some certain things that I would like to show you, and I will show you that I feel are going to definitely be time savers that you might not find yourself in Microsoft Word. So notice somebody asks the question how to remove a line that is in a resume. So remind me when we get to the resume file, I will show you that. I'll put one in and take one out so you can see. But that's basically clearing the formatting. Some people mention line spacing issues. Take a look at this list. You see anything on this list that is of interest to you? Let me know. And of course, we'll make sure that we go over it. But this is these are the topics that I have covered in this presentation. And like I said, you will get this presentation at the end of this training. So let's keep going, everyone. And let's start at the basics, and it's the ribbon. And you might say, well, I already know that ribbon. Well, let's think about it. In version 10, 13, 16, 19, whether you're using Office 365 online, whether you're using the desktop version, you've got a ribbon. And so that ribbon, you're going to see that I jump out of this PowerPoint and I jump into Microsoft Word to demonstrate. So you're going to see Microsoft Word sometimes, you'll also see PowerPoint sometimes. So I'm in Microsoft Word right now. I know you can see that. And this is your ribbon up here. And the more often you use it, the easier it becomes. But I will say that one of the things that you could do is start to memorize. Memorize what? First of all, what the tab names are across the top. And you may not have a draw tab depending on the version that you're using. So don't worry, I'm using the Microsoft Office 365 version 16 version. But again, these are the typical tabs across the top. And I can't enlarge this. This is as large as I can get it, but you can enlarge it. Someone's asking to enlarge it. You have a full screen button in WebEx. So it's the layout button in the upper right-hand corner, and you're able to click on layout and choose full screen, and that should make it a lot bigger for you to be able to see. Okay. So the ribbon here, I would highly recommend learning, again, the groups that are in each tab. So we call these across the top tabs, as you know, and these are groups. So one thing I just wanted to make sure that you knew is that if you double click on one of these tabs, what will happen? The ribbon will go away. So the tabs still stay, but the ribbon disappears. If you click once, the ribbon comes back only once. If you click again, the ribbon goes away. That can be annoying, and you might not realize that you did it. How did you do it? You double clicked on one of these tabs, and that is collapsing the ribbon. Now, how do you get it back? If you double click on one of the tabs, I'm going to use the home tab, and somebody says, yes, this is annoying, right? I'm going to double click on the home tab and bring it right back. And now it's solid. It'll stay there. Don't double click on the ribbon. If you do, it'll collapse. If you want to bring it back, you double click. And so I just put a little green arrow right here with the information that we just went over. And remember, there are tabs, there are groups, there are commands, there are buttons. So contextual tabs are tabs that pop up when you're using tables, etc. So there are many things that are on the ribbon that will pop up when you need them. But one of the most annoying things is that the ribbon disappears. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention was the quick access toolbar. Now, where is that? Well, let's jump back into Microsoft Word. And the quick access toolbar is typically at the top up here, and you can see it. And you typically have a save button. You have an undo and a redo button. And you may have some other buttons that you or someone else put up there. So I put the insert picture button up here. I put the layout button up here. And how did I do that? Well, those two buttons I use a lot. And I don't want to look through this ribbon to find those buttons. I want to be able to just click on them like save and insert a picture. Well, how did I do that? Well, watch if you would. So this is tips and time savers. You're going to get the instructions in the PowerPoint presentation. So notice these instructions here. Click the down arrow on the quick access toolbar, add any buttons, choose more commands to see all your commands. So you're going to get these instructions. So my advice to you would be not to blink, not to go out of the room. Make sure that you see this because I don't always have time to do it more than once. So here I go. I'm going to come up here and click this down arrow on the quick access toolbar. There are buttons here like the quick print. I might click on it and that'll add the quick print button so that I don't have to go to file print anymore. I can just quickly print using this button. How did I get that? I click the down arrow, and here are some of the most commonly used buttons. But maybe there's a command that I use that I want and is not listed here. So I go to More Commands, and a dialog box pops up. And right now, if I look right here, these are all the popular commands that are typically used in Microsoft Word. But if I come up to the top here, and click the down arrow and choose all commands, I will see in alphabetical order all the commands. Whoops, let me try it again. Yeah, in my PC is just a little slow. There you go, all commands. In alphabetical order, you will see all the commands that you have in Microsoft Word. So say, for example, there's, 3D models or something that you are always using, or you're using a bibliography or something like that, mail merge, and you'd like to put that on the quick access toolbar. You just click on the button. I just chose page borders. Click on add, and it adds it to the list. And then when you click OK, you'll be able to see that button up on the quick access toolbar. Now, if you would like to remove any button, you can always right-click on it and remove from the quick access toolbar. So the quick access toolbar is a customizable toolbar for you to put any buttons, any commands in Microsoft Word that you use a lot. Now, one more thing about the quick access toolbar, and then we'll move on. Watch when I click this down arrow. I can show the quick access toolbar below the ribbon. So when I click on that, here is the quick access toolbar, a little easier to see. And then of course it'll go all the way across. It does use like a, half an inch of your screen, so it pushes your document down a little bit. But a lot of people prefer to put the quick access toolbar either above the ribbon where it typically is or below the ribbon, and that's up to you. All right, let's keep going. If you have a question about what I'm doing, let me know. So this session is recorded, so you'll be able to review it again. Again, we're going through the quick options that are going to help you save time in Microsoft Word. One of those options is called the autocorrect option. You see right here, in Microsoft Word is built into Word to autocorrect certain words. And I'll show you the list of words, and you can actually add the words you want as well. Microsoft Word will capitalize the first letter of a sentence for you, the first word of a sentence for you. It'll capitalize names of days for you. It'll make ordinals and fractions look a little bit better if you use first and half. Now, if that's not working on your PC, well, you would go into the text options button And where would you find it? Under File, Options, Proofing, and Autocorrect. So you're able to type some text and see what Microsoft Word does with it. So let's just double check this and let's just take a look at this. So again, I'm going to demonstrate. So if I type this, you see the T in the word this is not capitalized. It's the first letter of a sentence or the first word. So I hit the space bar and it capitalizes the T. This is a test of autocorrect, let's say. And I'm going to type today is Thursday. Now take a look. I am not capitalizing the T in Thursday. Watch when I hit the space bar, it'll capitalize it for me. I will type 1/2. Notice how it looks, but watch when I hit the space bar. It typically will change that, and it didn't do that. Let's try it here. There we go. So notice it changes it to 1/2. So there are many things that are built into Microsoft Word. One of the other things that is built in is that, remember, the autocorrect. So watch if I type, so I'll go back up here. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm going to type the word tomorrow incorrectly. Notice I put 2 M's and 2 R's. Watch when I hit the space bar, it automatically fixes it for me. How does it know to do this? Well, everybody, follow me. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Options. So in the blue on the left-hand side, you'll have choices, and one of the choices could either be More, and then you'll see Options, or you'll be able to see Options, and I'm going to click on Options. On the left-hand side, More Choices, I'm going to click on Proofing. And then I want you to notice right across, it says Change how Word corrects and formats text. And that's called the autocorrect options. When I click on autocorrect options, I'm going to go quickly, so pay attention to this. Notice these check marks here. That means that these options that I just talked about are turned on. So if you went into the autocorrect options and you noticed there were no check marks here, you would click in the boxes to turn these options on. I want you to notice as I scroll down here, look at the words on the left-hand side, they are misspelled. Look at the words on the right-hand side, these are the corrections. These on the left-hand side are the most commonly misspelled words, and you'll see tomorrow in there if I scroll down. And what Microsoft Word does, it comes with this list because it surveyed the words that most people type in correctly, and it will automatically change the word. If you type it like this, the word independent, or like this or this, it'll change the word. Now, I want to show you something. Notice up here, it says replace. I can use this for any option. So my last name is Romano, but a lot of people spell it Romono. If, let's say, that was my boss's name, and I'm always misspelling it, I want to correct it to Romano and add it in. So now anytime I go, watch when I click OK, and OK again, and I might enter and type in Romano spelled incorrectly. Watch when I hit the space bar, it fixes it for me. Well, what else would I use autocorrect for? So everybody take a look. File, Options, Proofing, autocorrect options. I like to use it for any acronyms. For example, MHMNCC.com is Mass Higher Metro North Career Center. So if I type MHMNCC, that is Mass Higher Metro North Career Center. And I've added that into the list. Okay? And I click OK. And I click OK again. So now I can put Romano works at MHMNCC. Watch when I hit the space bar, it changes it to Mass Higher Metro North Career Center. So it's like a quick part. If you've ever used quick parts before, it's very similar to that. So autocorrect is built into Microsoft Word. So go find it under the File tab and customize it if you like. Now there's also a choice called quick parts. I'm not sure. First of all, I'm going to stop right here. Has anyone used any of these things that I've gone over so far? Or have you been learning anything new? I'd like to know that in the chat. I'd just like to know, keep in contact with you as you are watching me and listening to me. I see some of your questions, which we will talk about. So someone talks about editing a PDF file. And so, again, we'll try to incorporate these things into our session. But have you learned anything new so far? And what might it be is my question. I'd love you to put that in the chat. And I know you're still typing, so I will continue on. But has anyone ever used Quick Parts before? So Quick Parts comes with Microsoft Word. It's a gallery where you can store text that you want to reuse. So, for example, look at these two steps right here. So someone answers no, you haven't learned anything new yet. Oh, someone says, I forgot how to use autocorrect, so thanks. All right, good. And someone else says learning new information. And thank you for the rest of you as well who have responded. I appreciate that. So quick parts, maybe you said no to quick parts, right? So no to quick parts. Well, I think you're going to love this. What you can do is you can type in a phrase or text and add it to what we call a gallery and be able to bring it up anytime in any document. So I'll show you that real quick. It's really quite simple. It's very similar to the idea of the autocorrect, but autocorrect, remember, is built in, and this is you creating manually what you want to put. So say, for example, I'm going to put my email address here, and I'm going to select it. In Quick Parts, notice on the Insert tab where I click, notice I'm going to come over here to the text group, and I'm going to find this button, Explore Quick Parts. And when I click on that, auto text, document properties, for example, who the author of a document is. You can have field information, but I'm going to just use auto text. And I'm going to say what I've just highlighted, please save the selection to the auto text gallery. And it comes up. And the auto text, I could put a description. So my email if I wanted to, and click OK. Now, what if I'm down in a document somewhere? Here I am in a new document and I want to put my email address right here. Insert, Quick Parts, auto text, and all the auto text will be listed here. Here's my email address. I click and it enters it in. So much faster than me typing in my email address. Now, for some of you, you type so fast, maybe that was a little longer, but it could be a lot of information. For example, you can take this paragraph, auto text, and save the selection. Click OK. And then let's say you need it again in another document. Quick Parts, auto text, click, and there it is. So the auto text doesn't just go with the document, it's saved in what we call the gallery, and you're able to bring this up. Now, there may be shortcut keys that someone's asking if there are keyboard shortcuts to these. You'd have to Google that. I'm not a big keyboard shortcut person. What I mean by that is I don't want to teach you the shortcuts first. I'd like to show you the whole idea of what this topic is. And then, of course, if there's a shortcut, go ahead and find it. And you can Google, and Microsoft Word will give you a whole list of shortcuts. So again, very easily, you highlight the text that you would like to have repeated over and over again when you need it. You highlight the text, you come up to Quick Parts, you click on Auto Text, you come down to Save Selection to the Auto Text Gallery, you add it in, click OK, and then when you need it again, wherever you decide to go, you can go to Insert and Auto Text. Look at the gallery. I have my email, I have a paragraph, and I have a title that I might use over and over and over again, and I want to use this one right here. So I'm going to click on it and it will pop right up into my document, any document, no matter how long I'm using Microsoft Word. So here are your directions. Not to worry. Remember, you're going to get these directions at the end of this presentation. And this is for me to introduce to you what these topics are, what these tips are, where they are, and hopefully you will use them. But again, you do want to make sure that you decide which one you prefer. You know, there are many ways to do almost the same thing. And so auto correct is a great feature. Remember, that's built in. Inserting quick parts. Remember, you decide what that text is going to be and insert it using the quick parts button. All right, let's keep going. Hopefully you are seeing some things that you're going to be using in the future. All right, how many people have used the Format Painter before? Most likely there are quite a few that have used the Format Painter, but the Format Painter, if you take a look right here, is really a nice feature to just copy the formats of some text and then paste it on some other text. And look at these 5 steps. You'll select text that has formatting. You'll go to the Home tab and find the Format Painter, and then you'll click on it, and you'll be able to then paint, which is paste in a sense, paste into some new text, and that'll paint over the text with the formatting from the original. So why don't I demonstrate that right now? All right, take a look at my document here. Benefits for the volunteer. I'm going to go home, bold it, change the color, change the size, underline it. That's, you know, a lot of formatting. So I would like this text and this text, let's say, to also have the same formatting. So what I'm going to do is highlight the cell, the text that I'm going to, you can do this in Excel as well. You can also do this in Outlook and PowerPoint in the same exact way. So I'm not going to copy it with Control-C and Control-V because I don't want to copy the text. I want to copy the formats. So here on the Home tab in the Clipboard section, there is a paintbrush. Now, if you click on this Format Painter button once, you can only paste the format once. But I have a couple of paragraphs that I'd like to do. So I'm going to go and double click on this Format Painter. And now I'm going to highlight that text. And I'm going to come down and let's say every question I would like formatted. And every time I select the text, it is actually pasting the formats that it copied from that original text. When I'm done pasting the formats to the text that I have in my document, I can either hit Escape or go up and click on the Format Painter. So the Format Painter is a great way to copy formats and paste them. Paste what? The formats on the document. Now somebody just put Control A. Control A means select all. So I'm not sure what you're trying to tell me in the chat. So tell me more and I'll be glad to figure out if there's a question in there. All right, excellent. Okay, so use the Format Painter to copy formats. That's a manual way of copying formats. Here's another way. Find and replace. I think you all probably have used find and replace to find text and replace it with other text. But I'd like to show you how to use find and replace to find text, formatting of that text, and replace it with other types of formatting. So it's definitely a great tool for taking some text and replacing it with other text, but then I'd also like to use it for formatting as well. So take a look. How many of you have used the Format Painter before? Anybody? I'm just going to undo. Great. I got a couple people saying yes. How many people have used the find and replace before? A couple of people saying yes. Very good. All right. So now I'm going to show you again the typical way that you would use find and replace, and then I'll twist it a little bit to show you how to find and replace formats. All right. So first of all, let's say this is Northeast region. Okay. Okay, someone's putting in the chat, Control A. Control A means select all. Control C means to copy. Control V means to paste. So again, you have a question mark there. I hope I answered that question for you. All right, let's move on to the find and replace. And notice it says Northeast throughout this document. So why don't I do on the Home tab in the Editing group, the Replace button, and I'll say find Northeast, and I'll do a simple replace Southeast. Notice I type small letters for each. Now I'm going to do replace all. You could replace each one individually and make that decision and then go to the next one, but I'm going to click on replace all. It replaced 9 options, 9 places. So I'm going to close and notice Southeast, 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 and anywhere there was Northeast, it has now changed it to Southeast. So you can see that. So that's a find and replace, and it works very nicely. It lets you replace text with other text. Okay, now let's say I wanted to find the word Southeast and replace it and make it red lettering. All right, let's go to replace. So this time I'm going to say take Southeast and replace it with Southeast, but notice I'm going to click on more. And I'm going to come down here to Format. Font. So when I click on Format, a box pops up with choices. I'm going to click on Font. Then this dialog box allows me to choose the font color. I'll choose red because it's nice and easy to see on the screen. And I could do underlining and different font and size, so forth. But I'm just going to say red and click OK. So now notice, I would like Microsoft Word to find the word Southeast, replace it with Southeast, but the font color red. So now I'm going to do replace all. And now all 9 of the Southeasts are now red. And that's what I would like, so to bring attention to that particular text. So you can certainly look for fonts, look for colors, underlining, and replace them. So let's say, for example, I click on replace again, and it says find what Southeast and replace it with red. And somebody said, you know what, we're not going to use red, we're supposed to use blue. Oh no. So that's okay. Notice I'll click right here and come down, and instead of it saying clear, think of this as clear, it says no formatting. So when I click on no formatting right here, this font color red is going to go away. Then I can always go to Format, Font again, and you said blue you wanted? All right, I'll choose blue. I'll click OK and replace all. And all 9 of the Southeasts now change to blue. This is a great way, instead of doing the Format Painter, this is a great way of changing fonts and special characters in Microsoft Word using the find and replace. Any questions? Just put them in the chat. All right, I'm just going to hit undo, put it all back to the way it was, and I'm going to save this right now as a PDF. So when you're in Microsoft Word and you have a document, this document will still be in existence. But if I do File, Save As, it means I'm making a different version of this. So I could either give it a new name or a new type of document. So I'm going to put this in the, let's say, I'll put this in the Documents folder for today on this PC, and I'm going to change it to a PDF. And the reason why I'm going to change it to a PDF is I want you to be able to see that Microsoft Word can open any PDF file. Now, this is not the PDF file. This is my original document, and the PDF file was now saved to the hard drive on the Documents folder. So File, Save As, easy to create a PDF. But what if in Microsoft Word you wanted to open a PDF in Microsoft Word? Well, version 16 and above will allow you to edit a PDF in Microsoft Word. So I'm going to go to Open right now. I have many PDF files. So I'm going to go to Open. I'm going to go to Browse. And first, I'm going to go to Documents so that you can see that this is a PDF file. All right? So is this one right here a PDF file? So what happens when I open one of these PDFs? Why don't I open the Sweet Tooth Recipe Contest one? So I double click to open it. Microsoft Word is opening a new document. You'll see a message very soon that says right here, Word will now convert your PDF. It doesn't change the original document. It makes a new document, which is now going to be what? Editable in Word. So I'm going to click OK. The PDF file comes up, and sometimes you can see this is kind of messy. You can see that some PDFs need a little bit of work, especially if it had, like I had, some objects here that were large letterings. They might need to be moved to where they were supposed to go. But it still allows you to edit a PDF in Microsoft Word. So again, File, Open. I'm going to browse. I'm going to go look, and this one says Jan Romano resume for company. It's a PDF file. Well, what does a resume look like when I open it that was a PDF file when I click OK to let Microsoft Word edit it? And you'll see that it looks pretty good. Few things I might want to change, maybe the spacing, but it's still an editable document. So any PDF can be opened in Microsoft Word as long as you have version 16 or above. And that was one of our questions in the chat. All right, so we've talked about inserting quick parts. Someone has mentioned borderlines, so I want to make sure that you are knowing how to edit borderlines. Someone else had mentioned objects like pictures and how to format those. So I want to make sure that I show you and get all of your questions answered today. So let's try this document, and let's try first. Well, actually, since you mentioned a resume, let's go to a resume. Some of you in the past might have done this. You might have clicked your mouse where you wanted a borderline to be. And Microsoft Word has not changed much. In the Home tab, in the paragraph group, there is a border button. And there are many borders that you can put into Microsoft Word. And let's say I want to put a bottom border or a top border. And a lot of you put in lines to separate your data in your maybe older style resume. Maybe it's been a long time since you had to create a resume. So you might have some border lines. Okay, totally understandable. But how do you get rid of those borderlines now? Well, this is the way that you do it. I don't have a slide for this, so you might want to write this down. If you have a borderline, you must select above and below the line. So take a look. I'm going to bring my mouse out here to the left, highlight above and below the borderline. Then I go to the border button and I click the down arrow. Now remember, the border button is on the home tab in the paragraph group. I'm going to click the down arrow and choose what? No border. That is going to remove the border. Let me try it again. I'm going to go as far up, above, and below, if I like, including the borderline that's selected. Click the down arrow on the borderline, on the border button, and choose no borders. And that'll remove the border. Again, one more time, above and below, click the border button, no border. You want to put a border in, you can. If you want to take it out, that's the way you take out a border. Okay? So again, I can do File, Save As, and save this as a PDF, or I can open the PDF in Microsoft Word. Right? Now, when I open the document in Microsoft Word, that's a Word file. When I open the PDF in Microsoft Word, the PDF stands alone, but the new text that it's converted is considered a Word document. Oh, someone says, what's wrong with having a border in a resume? Applicant tracking systems will ignore the border, but cleaner is better. So the new way of creating resumes, you'll see templates that have all kinds of pictures and charts. And if you're in marketing, that's a wonderful resume. But again, the simpler, the easier on the eye, the less is more type of thing. Go ahead and listen to our resume tutorials on our YouTube channel. I'll show you where that is in just a little bit at the end. And also the formatting resume, I have a class on that as well. All right, so we're going to continue with our quick tips in Microsoft Word. And so let's keep going. One of the other things is inserting a picture. So I just want to go to the slide that I have. Let's see, where is it? Okay, well, it's all right. I can certainly show you. Okay, all right, well, we'll do it right here, not to worry. So let's go into Microsoft Word. Let's insert a picture. So insert picture. Where can you find the picture? Either on your device, you can use a stock image that comes with Microsoft Word, or you can use their online photos that they direct you to. So Microsoft Office is directing me to this Save Online Pictures, and I can look at one of these categories, or I can search for a picture that I'm interested in. So I will take, let's say, families, since this is about the children and document. So let's take a look. Some are photos, some are clip arts. I like this one right here, and I'm going to click on it and insert. So it doesn't matter if it's a photo or if it's more of a drawing. So once you insert, that document comes into your, that picture comes into your document, I should say. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you all can see. Pictures come with handles on the sides. So at the top, the side, the bottom, the left, the right, come these little circles, and these are handles. And it's always a better idea to go to a corner handle, get your mouse on a corner handle, and when you drag, you're able to make this smaller or larger using the corner handle. But moving it, watch when I bring my mouse to the middle and I drag this around. Moving it is difficult. So what you need to do is notice, first off, Picture Format is a tab that has popped up automatically after the word Help. This is called the tabs that are going along with whatever type of picture in this case, or table, whatever you're doing. Microsoft Word pops up a new tab if you need it, and we do need it because we want to choose Wrap Text. Now, this is Wrap Text right here as well, this little icon right here. But let's say you were using a lower version and you didn't have this icon. Wrap Text is always under Picture Format, Wrap Text. And what does it mean? Well, maybe you want the text to always be tight around the picture. So you would choose tight. And when you drag, you go to the middle of the picture, and when you drag this around, you can see that the text is word wrapping and very tight around this picture. Maybe you prefer to go to wrap text and do top and bottom, which means if you move this picture as I'm dragging this, you will see the text only will be at the top and the bottom, wherever I drag this to, of this particular picture. When I go to wrap text again, I might decide that I want this picture in front of text. Now, really, you're thinking, why would I want to cover up the text? No, that's not why I use in front of text. I use in front of text so that I can get this as close to the text as I want, and it won't push the text around. So if I wanted to make this nice and small and put this right in here, I can do that because I used in front of text. Now, one of the other last choices that I'd like to show you when you go to wrap text is you can use behind text. And that will put this behind the text. And you might be saying to yourself, well, it's a little hard to read the text if I put this behind. Well, here's the trick. Here's the tip, everybody. When you've put your picture behind the text, then you can go to Picture Format, Color, which is over here in the Adjust group. When you go to Color, you're able to either choose black and white or something called a washout or any other color type that you prefer. I'm going to choose a washout, and that is now behind my text, washed out. I still can see it, but it gives a little bit of either, depending on what your document is about, let's say it's a flyer, it gives a little visual interest to this particular document. So I'm just going to hit undo for a moment. Your options are in front of text, picture format, behind text, have the text go to the top and the bottom, have the text go tight around the particular picture, or maybe just a square around the picture. And you can also use through, which will move the text as you are moving the object. So again, whenever you put a picture, click on it, go to picture format, wrap text. You might want to write that down because I guess I must have deleted that particular slide. So picture format, wrap text. Then you can size the text with your handles in the corners. Corner handles are the best because they keep the integrity of the shape. And then if you go to color, you can change and enhance the color, make it, in this case, a little bit more yellow and vibrant. You can also go, here's something fun, artistic effects is in the same group where color is, under picture format. Artistic effects allows you to really add an effect on there that'll change the even idea of what this picture is about. And if I choose the black and white, you can see how it changes automatically as well. So I would suggest wrap text, color, and artistic effects as you're starting using your pictures. You can also then go to picture styles and check out whether you want this to look like a frame, or you can even make it look like a mouse pad, or put it in a circle, put a fuzzy border around it. There's all kinds of choices. So do not stop with just color, artistic effects, and wrap text. Take a look at all the other buttons to play around with your picture and make it look more visually interesting. Any question about a picture before we move on? All right, just taking a look in the chat, and I'll go back to the PowerPoint. So whenever you click on a picture, everyone, so here's the problem. Take a look at my screen. Very important. If you click on text, you will not have the extra tab after the word help. You must click on the picture, then take a look what comes up on your ribbon. Picture format. So you can ignore this right here that keeps popping up because I keep using the control key in order to bring up my little circle here, and so does this pop up. But I want you to notice that if you click on your picture, whether it's a shape, a picture, whatever you've put into your particular document, you will see the Format tab after Help popping up. Click on it. Look at your styles. Look at your color. Look at your artistic effects. And wrap text. You can also crop and size pictures over here on the right as well. So again, I'd love to have a class on just doing pictures. You can always Google, but it is a fun way of enhancing a document, especially if some of you are in marketing or sales or doing flyers for office admins and really wanting to jazz up your Microsoft Word. So these are, that's right, somebody mentions, these are, when I click on them, picture format are the contextual tabs that pop up based on the content of what's in your Word document. That's right, very good. Thank you for listening. That's great. And remembering what I said. Reminding me too, that will help me. All right, inserting files, I want to show you this. This is a pretty, let me go back, a pretty cool thing that you can do. Let's say you had a PowerPoint presentation that you now wanted to put some of that into Microsoft Word. So I'm going to go to Microsoft Word, back again. I think I'll come down to this particular area on my screen. I'll make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And let's say I go to Insert. And notice you can insert Wikipedia information. You can insert comments, text boxes, symbols. You can insert the date and time. You can insert an object and embed it into Microsoft Word. But you might want to insert a file. So take a look. Notice on the Insert tab, you want the From Insert, so Insert from File. You want that window pane. And how are you going to get that? You're going to click on what we call the document item. So let's take a look if I have that with my version right here. So Insert, and where is my document item? I go to Links. Yeah, I might not have it in this version. But I can say reuse files. Typically, you would see instead of reuse files, you would see document item here, but I'm going to use reuse because I'm going to find another document that I've used earlier. And here's a PowerPoint, that Nancy Quinn's PowerPoint. Say, for example, I want one of her slides from here, or I want this screen to come up. These are files that I've used before, or I can actually search for files if I would like right here. So I'm just going to use, to save time, one of these. This is a PowerPoint slide. I'm going to click on it. Now I can insert a link to it, or I can insert the file. So I'm going to click on Open. Let's see. Here we go. Come on. There we go. And it automatically, let me close this right-hand screen so you can see, it put that slide into my Word document. And what is it? It is an image. See the corner handles? See how I would go to picture format and wrap text so that I could put it either in the background, or I could put it in front of text, or I could wrap it around the text. And so this is a file, which the file was a PowerPoint presentation. It could be Excel. It could be another Word document. So again, I'll try it again. So I'll click right here. Again, you'll go to Insert off of your ribbon, and you'll go to, I have reused because I just used it earlier. But you'll see here that I can click on More and see and Browse on my machine. So I could go to Browse. I could find a PowerPoint, and I could decide which one of those that I want, and I can open it, or I could go and instead of having it opened, I can take, let's say I take, again, any one of these files. Just like to take a different one so that you don't see that it looks the same. So let me browse my machine. You see a picture or a document, mass hire. All right, yeah, that one doesn't have anything in it. Okay, so we'll have to take one of these. And when you click on open, it puts it right in here. Oh, and that document had trouble, of course, when I'm demonstrating. But you'll be able to see when you click on a document. Let me go find a good one. There we go, spell check. Nope. And open. There we go. And so now, see all these spelling errors are now included into my document. So, all right, very good. So you can either open the file or you can insert it into the file that you are using. So that's a quick way of getting a PowerPoint slide or an Excel chart, something like that, inside your Word document. And here are your directions right here. Okay, somebody mentioned that you had line spacing questions. So before I get there, someone says they're confused. What are you confused about? Tell me. Help me out so that I can help you. So again, if you're confused about inserting a file, remember you can insert a file into a Word document. That file can be PowerPoint or Excel or even another Word document. And you can decide to take the whole file or just a slide and bring it into a Word document. And when you bring it into the Word document, you will see that it is brought in like a picture, an object. You're using the screen on the right-hand side to search for the file, or any files that you had recently opened will show up there. And there you go. So again, I think I demonstrated that a couple of times, and I want to make sure that I don't run out of time. So if you don't see it, depending on your version, if you go to Insert, you will look for your document item or reuse files. Either one of those will work. If that's not there, you can always use a link, and you could link a hyperlink to the document if you prefer. All right. So let's take a look at line spacing, everyone. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration. So in Microsoft Word, typically your line spacing button is in the paragraph group on the Home tab. When you click the down arrow on the line spacing button and go to line spacing options, typically 0 extra space before you type your text and 0 extra space after you hit the enter key is included, is added to your line spacing that you're using, and we're using single spacing. That is typical. And that is when I type and hit enter, it will look like this. But have any of you, and some of you mentioned this in the chat, have any of you ever taken a look at your Word document, and as you're typing, you are actually, let's just play with it a little bit so that I can get it to show you. When you're typing and you're hitting enter, it's actually leaving a lot of space in between, or a little bit more than you had hoped. And you think, what is going on? I don't have line spacing on. Well, Microsoft Word all of a sudden may decide to add in extra spacing before and after the text that you're typing. And you're like, I don't want that. Well, we all know that we can go to the line spacing button, but notice it says single space. And you're like, no, I'm sorry, that's not single spaced. Well, what you'd do, you'd go to line spacing options, you'd make sure that right here it says 0 and here it says 0. So for spacing before and after, here it would say single. And this is what you do. And I have a slide so that it will give you the directions so you don't have to write any of this down. But we are saying we don't want extra spacing before and after our text. We want it to be single spaced. And now look what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this as a default for all documents in the future as well. And that's what all documents based on the normal template mean. It's not just this document only. When I click OK, and I go to File, New, Blank Document, and I type, it'll be back to single spaced. So take a look at this slide, those of you that have had trouble with Microsoft Word, and it's not your fault. All of a sudden, Microsoft Word starts changing the line spacing. And so these are the steps that I just did in order to change the line spacing to 0 points before and after. Set it to single, set it as a default for all documents, and you will never have trouble again until Microsoft Word decides to automatically do that again to you. And again, there's no reason why sometimes it does that, it just does. And so you can fix it anytime. All right, hopefully that helped that person that had your line spacing options. All right, highlighting text. Some of you had already mentioned Control A. I just want to make sure that you understand a quick way to highlight text is to place the cursor in the left margin. You can drag, you can click twice for a paragraph, you can click once for a line of text. And I feel like selecting text can be a tad annoying. So if I'm on my resume and I want to select this paragraph, it's really simple. Bring your mouse out to the left and double click. And when you double click, it'll highlight a paragraph. So if there were several paragraphs, it would only highlight the one that you're pointing to. If you want to highlight these lines of text here, skills all the way down to QuickBooks, you would still put your mouse out here to the left and you would drag straight down to highlight. If you wanted to highlight this bullet, it's a paragraph, so you would double click, double click, double click to highlight individual bulleted lines. If you wanted to highlight them all, you'd bring your mouse out to the left and drag straight down. Okay. How many people will drag and let go too soon? It happens. Well, I've got an easy fix. If you bring your mouse to where you would like to finish the selecting, you hold down the Shift key and click the mouse. Shift click means that it will add to that highlighting. So again, if I highlight these two lines and I've let go of the mouse and I'm like, oh, that's okay. I bring my mouse right here at the end. I don't click yet. I hold down the Shift key and click. Now, sometimes we highlight too much. So I'm going to highlight too much right now. And I want to take off the highlighting for skills in PowerPoint and Word. Again, you bring your pointer where you would like to stop the highlighting. You hold down the Shift key and click, and it will remove any highlighting that is below where you've pointed your mouse. So check that out. I put this on the slide so you're able to use the Control key and the Shift key. Control always means and Shift means through in any of the software packages. So if somebody asks this question, and we always want to make sure that we answer, if this right now is double spaced, how do you change the whole document? If it's truly double spaced, if somebody truly chose 2 for double spacing, Control A lets you select the entire document, and then you would go up to the home and the paragraph group and change it by just choosing 1.0, which is single. And your whole entire text now is single spaced. All right. I would like to just show you a quick way of changing your bullets. Sometimes you're working with bullets on your resume, or you're working with bullets in a document, and you would like to have these bullets larger or a different color or a different shape. So you're able to change the size of your bullets, change the color of the bullets, and change the bullets themselves. So let's take a look at that, just because I think these are hidden and you may not be well versed in these. So first I'm just going to enter a bunch of text here, add a couple more lines. I'm going to highlight this text and bullet it. And you know that on the Home tab in the paragraph group, there's a bullet button. I click the bullet button, and what is the default? It is the circle button. So the circle bullet shows up in front. It always shows up in front of your text, each line separately. Now I can click the down arrow on the bullet button and choose some of the built-in bullets that are here, like the check mark. But what if I wanted some additional types of bullets? Take a look. First, I'm going to click the down arrow, and I'm going to go down to Define New Bullet. Now, should I use symbol, picture, or font? First, I'm going to choose symbol, and then OK. There we go. And then notice it says Wingdings. I'm going to click the down arrow. I would suggest Wingdings or Webdings. There's Wingdings 2 and 3 as well. So I can click on these and see the different types of bullets that I might want to use. So depending on the type of document, maybe the document I'd prefer to use smiley faces, not on my resume, but on a particular document I might, or if this is about a computer or money, I might look and you can't do a real search, but you can search through, eyeball it yourself and take a look at these bullets and see which one you like. So I'm going to take this smiley face right here, click OK, and OK again, and I've changed my bullet to something a little bit more visually interesting, let's say. Now I want these smiley faces to be larger and the color red. So where do I go? Again, I click the down arrow on the bullet button. I go to Define New Bullet. I'm not going to go to symbol this time to change the symbol because I like the smiley face. I'm going to go to font. When I click on font, I can decide the color. I'll choose red. I also can decide the size. I'll choose 16. I can decide whether it's bolded, but right now I'll click OK and OK again. And you'll see that this has been enlarged. These bullets are larger, they're smiley faces, and they're red. So you can always go and edit by doing Define New Bullet. Choose a symbol that is more appropriate to the text that you're working on. You can look through. If you don't see what you like, you come up to the top and choose a different option. So I'll go to Wingdings 2. I'll use this star here, click OK, and OK, and then I'll get stars. All right, any questions? The other thing that I want to make sure that everybody knows is you never center bullets, right? I've seen too many flyers come across my desk with a centering of bullets. Horrible. The bullets are supposed to line up. They're always supposed to be left aligned. And in order to move them, it's just using your increase indent and your decrease indent button. So increase indent moves the bullets over. Decrease indent moves them back. So take a look on your resume. So I don't suggest on your resume that you use any fancy bullets, but I do suggest that you highlight your bullets using your mouse out to the left edge, then using your increase indent to move them over all at the same time, or using your decrease indent to move them back. Okay? So bullets are fine to use to list your, let's say, accomplishments in your resume. So again, take the resume training. Nancy just taught the Resume Beyond Basics today, and I'm going to be putting that up on the YouTube channel a little bit, probably tomorrow, and get that all settled in. So you can certainly look at our free YouTube channel. I'll show you where that is in just a little bit. So let's go back and take a look. Any other questions about changing bullets, size, and colors? So how do you move the bullet? Somebody just asked. Well, you might have been typing that as I was doing it. So let me just double check to make sure that I'll just highlight these three so that you can see dramatically. You're just using the increase indent on the paragraph group on the home tab, and you're pushing them in to the right and you're pushing them to the left. If you want different spacing, this is what I highly recommend. So let's say I wanted to put another bullet in between these two. I click my mouse here and I hit enter and I get a bullet. Okay, the only thing is I might prefer to have some empty space. So when you hold down the shift key and then hit enter, that allows you to either type or leave this empty blank area here, blank line. And then if you enter again, you'll get a bullet. So entering will continue the bullets. Shift enter will give you a blank line. Whether you're using bullets or numbers, numbering is the same type of policy. So hitting the enter key will give you at the end of your text, will give you another bulleted line, or you can use shift enter if you would like just regular text without bullets, and then hit enter again in order to continue your bullets. All right, let's go back. Numbering, same idea, so I'm going to just give you that slide. You can look at that. All right, text boxes. I love to show you text boxes because they are a great tool to use under a picture or a chart. So say, for example, let's go to a Word document. So say, for example, this right here. Remember this object? Remember this text with this picture? I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And let's say there was an artist who you copied this from, and you wanted to put, and I'll just go back to picture format and just make it straight. And you wanted to put who the artist was who drew this picture. But you can't type underneath here. Oh, you can with either word art or a text box. So let me show you text boxes. They're quite easy to use and versatile. So the first example I'm going to show you is adding a text box so that I can put it under this particular picture and maybe put the author or the painter the artist who created this picture. So here we go. I'm going to go to insert. Oops, let's get these off of the screen. Here we go. I'm going to go to the insert tab. I'm going to go way over here to the right-hand side to the text group, and I'm going to click once on text box. A choice box of boxes will show up. And so if I look at these choices, I can certainly choose any one of these, but I think I'll choose the plain one right here. When I click the mouse, a text box appears with a border with highlighted text in the middle. And I don't do anything but type right now. So say, for example, that artist was Joe Smith. And now I'm going to go to the border of the text box and drag it. Maybe I'll go to the corner handle and size it and move it. And so now it'll look like this with a border. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think I like that border. I think I would like to have no border. I think I'd like to have just that Joe Smith, and he's the artist in 2021. Now let me make this text box a little bit bigger. Remember, you use the handles, which are the circles, and then you can use the border to grab onto and move it. And I've decided I don't want a border on this. So every text box is considered a shape, and shape format is going to pop up. I'm going to click on shape format. I'm going to go over here to shape outline. So a border is considered an outline. So I'm going to go to Shape Outline and choose No Outline. So an outline, you can use that term or you can use the word border, but if you use outline, it's going to help you because you're going to see that the button is called Shape Outline, No Outline. Now, it looks like, and I can click on it and move this up a little bit. It looks like the text is floating right here. And these two objects are separate. So if I move one, and I can group them together, but if I move one, then I might have to move the other as well. So keep that in mind. That can be a tad frustrating, but again, that's how it works. But you can group these together. Another reason why you might want to use a text box, take a look. Insert text box once again. Maybe I'll use the simple text box again, and I'm going to type Mass Higher, Metro North. Notice I'm going to select inside it by dragging and go home, change the coloring, change the size, and widen this text box. Now I can drag it anywhere I want. I can also angle it and put it behind my text if I want, like I showed you with any picture. I think I'll angle it like this and bring it over here to the left. This is how I can type any text that I want in the left and right margin by putting it in a text box. That text box, I can word wrap text. I can also just type text and let it sit here in the left. And remember, that text box comes with an outline, a border. I can click on it, go to Shape Format, that pops up. This is after Help. This is a new tab. And I can go to Shape Outline and No Outline. And now it looks like the text is just floating on the left-hand side. So this is how you can type inside the left and right margin, and the top and bottom margin you can do as well using a text box. All right, pretty good? Okay. Now, so the purpose of a text box is, somebody asks, the purpose is it allows you to put text and float it anywhere you want, where it would be very difficult and sometimes unavailable to type. So if I wanted to type something in this right margin, I can't do it, but I can insert a text box and draw it anywhere I want. I can do that feature. And as I type, it'll word wrap in the text box, and I can move it wherever I want it to go. You can insert photos in a text box. You can have anything inside a text box. Okay? All right. Again, there are many choices, and that's how people will create flyers and so forth. Now, one of the tips that I would like to say to you that I do save for my advanced Microsoft Word training, but I'd like to show you now. Because I just mentioned flyers, brochures, etc. Notice File, New, Blank Document, brings a blank document. You all know that. But File, and right here where it says Search, you can search for any type of document you would like to create. So say you wanted to create a brochure. You hit enter after you type brochure. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't go to new yet. I'm sorry. File, new, then you type right here. So sorry about that. And here you go. And you hit enter. And all these brochures about different topics will show up. Now, if you find some brochures about a different topic than you want, but you like the style, you certainly can click on any of these brochures and change the pictures that come with these brochures. So let's say I'm just going to take this nice simple one right here and click on it. and then say I'd like to create it. A brochure, I want you to notice there are columns of information, and the way they created these is using tables, and you're able to click on a photo and delete it and insert your own picture from your device, from stock pictures, or you can search, of course, online and find any pictures that you might want to use. So I will do the beach right here because that would be nice to be at the beach at the moment. And we'll click insert and we'll put it into this particular brochure. Now brochures, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see. They are threefold. So here's your first column, second column, third column. There's an inside and an outside. So you typically have 2 pages that you're able to click and highlight and type over what you want. You're able to change your picture and put it anywhere you want, put in a company name, and make the brochure the way you'd like. Again, File, New. Let's say you're looking for a flyer. You type in flyer in the search box once you click on File, New, and you're able to see all kinds of flyers dealing with different topics, graduations, party invitations, holidays, whatever it might be. And you can click and then create it and edit it the way you'd like. It's a Word document. Now, a lot of us File, New, and searching again, a lot of us are asked to create calendars. You'll find calendars. You'll find resumes, yes. I don't highly recommend that you use the resumes just because they come with tables. Tables aren't great for applicant tracking systems, but there's all kinds of templates. And again, I'm scrolling to show you. If you want to put in, again, let's say it's a certificate you'd like to create. Type certificate, and here are some of the certificates that you can use and customize them into the way that you want. So these are Word documents, and there are so many. You're looking for any type of document, even a letter. You're not sure how to do a business letter and what should the setup for a business letter would be. And you're seeing lots of resumes here, but then eventually you'll come down and see the cover letter that matches the resume that shows up. But if we scroll down, you'll see hundreds of choices. And here we have, a reference letter, which I might want to create, but not use the actual verbiage that's here. But I can use the setup that's here. So I know where to put my name and the company name and the recipient's name. So you use these templates to help you create your own documents. All right, well, our time is ticking away. I wanted to show you how to edit the custom dictionary quickly. So let me show you that real quick. All right, have you ever typed let's say it's your boss's last name, and your boss's last name is, let's give it a good name, Callahan E, something like that. And so Microsoft Word says, I'm sorry, I've never seen that word before. So if you right click on it, you're able to add it to the dictionary. And when you add it to the dictionary, it'll never flag it when you type it again as an error. Now you can always edit the dictionary in File, Options, Proofing, and go to Custom Dictionaries. So you can, if you have 10 words that are, words that are people's last names that may be, from another country or so forth, and they're hard to spell. So what you could do is in Microsoft Word, if you decided that you'd like to put them all into the dictionary without having to type them, you could go to File and Options. And again, notice here are the instructions. All right, I'm going to go to Proofing. Let's see, here we go. Proofing on the left. And then you're able right here to edit your custom dictionary. So your custom dictionary, you can add to it. You can edit the list. Look at all these things that have been placed into the custom dictionary. Maybe you're using somebody else's computer. It is now your computer. You can select all of these and delete them, and then type in your own that you want to put in your custom dictionary. So this is a way to edit the custom dictionary. This is your dictionary, not the dictionary that comes with Microsoft Word, but it's your custom dictionary. And that's always a nice thing to be able to do. All right, I'm so sorry our time is up. So I wanted to show you though, and I didn't know what your questions would be, and I always like to give you more. So it's not that we ran out of time really, it's just that I always try to give you more information in my slides. So if you're interested in putting in a page border, there's the online pictures slide that I was looking at for earlier. So we talked about wrapping text and formatting colors and formatting borders. If you're interested in putting in headers and footers, always wanted to give you a little bit of information about that. Maybe a cover page when you're working with large documents, tables, formatting tables, password protecting your document, editing the PDF file we did do. Oh, cover page is in there again. I wanted to show you that, this is an old file. That's funny. I must have opened that other document. So I wanted to show you right now, real quick, what we are going to be teaching in the future. So everyone, I want to just give you in the chat the website to find all of our other trainings, because we want to make sure that you are able to see our other trainings. Let me put this in the chat. Let me show you our calendar as well. All right, so the upcoming December events, I'm going to copy. Go ahead and put that in the chat, I will. And there's the link to go to our upcoming events. And let me bring this over so you can see it, and then I'm going to do a file transfer. So hold on a second, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. And you should be able to see, let's see, there we go. You should be able to see this screen right here. And these are our workshops, and you're going to see December. Here are our workshops, and I can make this just a little bit bigger for you. There we go. And notice next week, live ONET walkthrough. Oh, no, actually that was this week. Next week is interviewing basics and applying tenets of your customer service skills into your job search. If you're not sure what job you'd like to go into, we have torque and wellness and the weird normal for this COVID, what's happening. Working with recruiters. And if you're working on your LinkedIn, I'd love to see you in my LinkedIn headline and summary. So Nancy and Brendan and myself are teaching these trainings. They're free. Would love to see you. Notice Mastering Advanced Word Topics is on the 21st. I know it's getting close to a holiday that some of you do participate in, but notice New Strategies for Older Workers, PowerPoint Tips and Tricks, Exploring Google Apps, and after the holiday, Building a LinkedIn Profile for a Career Change, Branding, Interviewing, and Excel Data Analysis Tool. So check out our website. We also have a MassHire Metro North YouTube channel. I'm going to put that in the chat. Now that YouTube channel has been, it's being worked on, so you might not be able to jump into it today. Oh, it's popping up, so that's good. So let me show you this YouTube channel, and stick around. I'm going to do a file transfer in just a minute, and I'm going to put that in the chat as well. So let me go ahead and put that YouTube channel URL in the chat. All right, everybody, let's make sure that you know what we're going to be doing next. So I'm going to be doing a file transfer, and this file transfer is going to allow me to send you to your computer the file that we used today. So let's start doing that.